Hey guys, PrinceofMacedon here. I'm going to do a commentary video for Rome Total War. This is not live commentary. The footage is live, but not the commentary. Anyways, this is a 1 versus 2 battle, and my opponents are El Estrago and SpecoOpDonut. And they have 20,000 denarii to work with. I only spent half of my 20,000, which would be 10,000 denarii. And I command the Roman army of Marius. And this represents his rather lean army at the Battle of Aquae Sextiae. And I want to apologize now, but I had to use Gaul to represent the German factions of the Teutones and Ambrones, led by King Teutobod. I was looking at the faction units, and it seemed like Gaul had the best representation of what I wanted the this army to look like at this battle. So anyways, 1 versus 2. I'm hiding my cab in the forest. It's not the way Marius fought this battle, but it'll stay true in essence to what he did at this battle. But anyways, at this battle, Marius had about 30 to 35,000 troops. He had to raise these troops out of the blue, and I'll explain how he did that later on. But the army he was confronting at this battle of Aquae Sextiae was probably about 120,000, so he was outnumbered about 4 to 1, and I tried to represent that number in this battle. And I think I did a pretty good job of doing that. But anyways, this battle, Aquae Sextiae, was part of the Cimbrian War, and that was one of the most ferocious wars that Rome ever fought. I mean, sure, you have the Second Punic War. That was pretty ferocious, but this war against the northern barbarians is often overlooked because there's really nothing glorious about it. But for people who delve deeper into Roman military history, it's pretty rich because this is when Marius came into being, and this is when he revolutionized the recruiting methods of the Roman military system. But anyways, the Cimbrian War started in about 113 BC when northern tribes, like Germanic tribes, later Gallic tribes, were basically on the move throughout northern Europe looking for land. So around 113 BC, a big tribe of these northern barbarians, they raided this place called Noricum. It wasn't Roman, but they were allied to Rome, and these guys could not defend themselves, so they asked Rome for help. And the Roman consul at the time was Carbo. So this guy was just elected. He had about a year to prove his worth. So he saw this as an opportunity to demonstrate that he had earned his right as a consul to lead Rome. So this guy marched out and he met these barbarians. And yeah, he marched out. The barbarians said, hey, we had no idea that you were allied to Noricum, so we're just going to leave. And in reality, the barbarians were actually on their way out, but Carbo wanted a military victory, to prove his worth. So he laid a trap for these barbarians, and the trap failed. The barbarians slaughtered his army, and we're just gonna fast forward in history here. Rome lost 5 consular armies against these barbarians. And Rome was pretty scared because they knew at any time these barbarians could just pour through the Alps into Italy and just destroy Rome. Like, it was so bad that Romans, for the first time, or not for the first time, but the last time in their history, they had actually did human sacrifices at the Forum Boarium. And the last time that they did this was after the Battle of Cannae, when they got their troops slaughtered by Hannibal. So that's how terrified Rome was at this point, and that just demonstrates how ferocious this war was. It was pretty intense. So anyways, Rome, they were pretty much displeased with the aristocratic leadership that they had leading these armies. So they eventually looked about 1,000 miles away south in the African region of Numidia, because there they had a proven commander by the name of Marius. He was credited with capturing Jugurtha. He was the Numidian leader at the time. Some people would credit Sulla, but that's not important right now. But this guy, he came up to Italy, and he raised some troops because, as I said, 5 consular armies were destroyed, so where was he going to find the men to fill his ranks? So the previous requirement of this time to join the Roman army, you had to be able-bodied and you had to own land. So Marius said, "Hey, why do we even have this requirement? Let's just get any able-bodied men we can." So he dropped the requirement of having to own territory, and by that he was able to quickly raise Roman troops, and this became standard practice after the time of Marius. So Marius finally marched north with his troops of about 35,000, and when he went north, he had no opponents because the barbarians poured into Hispania, trying to find more territory. That's basically all these barbarians wanted. They just wanted land, really. But they left, so that gave Marius time to fortify his position and train his men even better. So this was a mistake, strategically speaking, by the barbarians to let Marius, this Roman badass from Numidia, who had fought in Numidia, consolidate his gains here. But anyways, eventually, the barbarians did come back, and Marius was not so eager to engage the enemy. When the enemy did come, this was around the Rhone River, it took about 6 days for this barbarian army to just pass through Marius' camp. But eventually, he followed this barbarian army all the way to this place called Aquae Sextiae, and that's where he finally agreed to do battle with these guys. But yeah, the barbarians had about 120,000 troops. Marius only had 35,000 troops. But anyways, I'm about to be attacked here. I was trying to lure my opponents here. I'm speaking of the actual battle that I'm fighting now. I'm trying to lure my opponents into not fighting all at once. I want to take them on one at a time. But you can see that the ally is moving up pretty fast, so my plan's failing. So I'm going to form up for battle now. And yeah, at this battle, Marius did have the hill advantage. And he also had troops hidden. They're probably foot troops, though, that were hidden in the trees. And he instructed them to come out when the opportunity presented itself. In this case, I'm using my cav to do that. I just think it'd be easier for me to use my cav to do it. And at this time, Rome did have superior cav to these Germanic and maybe some Gallic troops. Pretty rare occasion to have superior Roman cav. But anyways, I'm going to form up here, and I'm going to toss my Pila at those barbarians right there. And you can see he's moving up his skirmishers to absorb my Pila. So I tried to turn off my Pila. And I'm going to send in my general, that's Marius. He's going to go in and try to take out some of those skirmishers. Because I don't want to waste my Pila on those guys. And I know if you're Portuguese, you're probably laughing that I'm saying Pila a lot. And there, my guys did toss their Pila, so, it's kind of messed up. Whatever. Whatever, guys. So I'm going to go after the other guy. That's El Estrago, trying to take out his skirmishers, but they're on skirmish mode, so they run away. And look at this glitch here. My guys, they get stuck right there. That's my general unit, so I lose a horse. And I'm not really liking this position that I'm in. And I see that I'm about to be outflanked here, so I'm going to pull some of my guys back. Oh, look at my army. I used all Principes. And that just represents how new this army was. I mean, they still had Principe Hastati, whatever, in name. But in reality, they were all armed like Principes now. It's a very standard and uniform look. So this guy, the ally, El Estrago, is going to start pouring in here. He's even trying to outflank me. See those troops on the very top of my position there? I'm going to pull some of my troops back. So I break some of those guys. That's good. Got to keep Marius alive. And see him, El Estrago, he is coming down my other side there. So they are outflanking me. But I brought troops back just in time to meet this outflanking movement. And you can see in the very back, my cav is still present. I don't want to activate them now. I want the enemy to clump first before I activate them. And that's what Marius thought. And at this point, yeah, I'm going to send them in. Here's my Roman cav. And yeah, that was Marius's his goal at this battle, because he knew the barbarians would clump eventually, and that's when he wanted his hidden units to come out and play. And if you looked a few minutes back, you could see that when the El Estrago was retreating his cav, he almost discovered my position of Roman cav, and I was eyeing those guys because that was my trump card, keeping my Roman cav hidden.
The gods be praised.
So we killed one of the generals. We'll just say that was King Teutones. And look at that massive rout right there from El Estrago's barbarian contingent right there. Pretty intense action. But yeah, this is still 2 armies against me. 20,000 versus 10,000 here. So I'm working furiously here to prevent from being outflanked here.
The enemy general flees.
And there goes another enemy general. So there goes King Teutones and his, I guess his subordinate right there. But I'm using my cav to run down those running units there. Because I know they're going to reform, because there's still so many troops left in those units that are routing. So it's still a huge threat. I'm still outnumbered, like, tremendously. I started off being outnumbered 4-1. And right now I'm still outnumbered, like, 3-1, even though they're running. Attack! So I'm going to try to hit that unit there. That wasn't the best looking outflanking movement, but whatever. I'm just trying to hit these guys quickly before those troops reform. If you look at the bottom, they are reforming right now. That's not good. And I got Marius right there in the middle of my troops. They're down to 6 horses. And look, SpecoOpDonut said I was lying about spending half my money. He said I spent 9,000 denarii. 9.8 denarii. 1,000 denarii, sorry. I'm not sure if you do the math properly. If he did the math properly. But half of 20,000 is 10,000. Right now I'm getting killed. See my general unit? I missed that during the battle. So look, I'm getting hit by all those skirmishers, and now I'm down to just Marius in that horse unit. But I was able to rout that unit with my Roman cav, so that was a very that could have been a very bad oversight on my half, because losing Marius would have been bad. So all those troops down there, they're coming back. They reformed after routing, and those guys they got carried away too. And you know, I lost track of them, so I got to bring them back. But there's this huge barbarian threat still, and they were chasing just some weak, you know, non-important Gallic units here. And again, I do want to apologize. I thought using Gaul was the best way to represent this Germanic army of the Teutones and Ambrones. Like, you know, following the Cimbrian invasion, there were eventually, some historians think, there were eventually some Gallic contingents added to this. But yeah, definitely the Teutones and Ambrones were most likely Germanic.
The enemy show their
so anyways,
virtue. They are not soldiers,
yeah,
only frightened
I managed to win this battle. And eventually, the Romans won the Cimbrian War, but it was very deadly. As I said, before Marius took command, the Romans had lost 5 consular armies, including this huge disaster at Arausio, in which the Romans lost between 80,000 and 120,000 troops. One of the worst disasters since Cannae. So yeah, please look up the Cimbrian War. The Cimbrian War. It was deadly. And you can learn about the rise of Marius during that time. So I'm running down these router units here, making sure they don't reform. But I pretty much have the battle under control now. So we will look at the results of this battle here. It was pretty intense action. I want to say good game to SpecoOpDonuts, who should probably recalculate half of 20,000 denarii, and also El Estrago. They did really well. Very good battle.
Rome demands victory from her generals, and this day is clearly
our victory. Yeah, so I do love Marius, just not anywhere near as much as Caesar. But yeah, it's a clear victory. Yeah, good game to my opponents. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave your comments in the comments section. And, yeah, that's it. Long live Marius! Without him, we would have not so cool stuff. Yeah. See my name? Numidian Slayer, after Marius. Haha! Because he fought in Numidia. It's almost funny, guys. Laugh! Do it! Why is the video still going? End.